The conflict in the Middle East has caused fuel prices to rise amid oil and gas supply disruptions. For African economies, the impact is clear. Fuel imports are now more expensive, raising transport costs, food prices, and household budgets. Against that backdrop, a new player is emerging to address the challenge. Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, recently said his new 650,000 barrel a day refinery in Nigeria has begun exporting refined petroleum products to other African countries.
In the last couple of days, we've been loading to mostly African countries, which we are not doing before. And then now is to do with also petroleum products.
You might say that's a step in securing Africa's energy needs, but there's more to it. Welcome to The Flip Side. Many leaders, including the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, were quick to applaud Dangote for stepping in.
I hope that when we go back, that we can continue to talk to the partners that will partner, the countries that should partner with the Dangote industries.
Yet on the streets of Nigeria, some were not so keen on the idea of Nigeria sharing its oil supplies.
I don't think it is fine that the Dangote refinery, they are majorly exporting fuel to outside countries. So how are we going to survive?
How did the continent, though, find itself in such a vulnerable position? Africa produces a lot of crude oil, but refines little of it. Since 2005, it has been a net importer of petroleum products. By 2021, 4 countries, Egypt, Algeria, South Africa, and Nigeria, made up around 3/4 of Africa's refining capacity. 4 countries refining oil for nearly 54 countries. That's a massive challenge. For decades, Africa's crude oil was exported cheaply, refined abroad, then re-imported as expensive petrol, diesel, or jet fuel. Result, even oil-producing countries like Nigeria have seen sharp rises due to the global market shocks.
Historically, when we had colonial rule, the idea was for exports. The oil production system was primarily done to export crude.
That legacy was never fully dismantled.
And even subsequently, when we had refineries, there was a poor maintenance culture. Regularly, energy infrastructure is supposed to be maintained from time to time, coupled with corruption and poor corporate governance.
The scope of this challenge extends beyond Nigeria to South Africa.
The dependency on liquid fossil fuel is very high, and even more now because it's lost a fair amount of its refining capacity. So it even has to import diesel.
Now, Dangote's refinery might have come at the right time, but experts say it alone won't solve Africa's energy security.
The Dangote initiative, and hopefully many will follow on the back of that, it does not organize itself to increase the fuel security for the countries around it.
And that's because we're so far behind competitors in the Middle East, Asia, or Europe. Those regions built up their refining capacity decades ago.
The Middle East already had a lot of crude and could then integrate refining rather than African countries taking the risk of building their own refineries. They thought it was more efficient to do it that way.
One thing is clear. The conflict in the Middle East has exposed the risks of Africa's dependence on distant fuel suppliers.
People are beginning to rethink the entire oil production structure and the entire petroleum regime in their own countries.
For some, though, the shock reinforces a broader lesson. Energy security goes beyond fossil fuels.
If it was just highly visible before, it is shouting at you now around the direction in which you move. And if you refuse to listen to it, there's a huge price to be paid.
That means African countries exploiting both renewables and locally sourced energy. And that's the flip side.